Chosen one. Listen carefully. Heaven has paused everything around you for a reason. You were led here not by curiosity but by divine design. Something inside you has been stirring an awareness that the date ahead, January 4th, carries more weight than the calendar can explain. This is not just a new day approaching. This is a divine summons. You are standing at the doorway of destiny, and the voice of heaven is whispering. Now, the years of wandering, the nights of confusion, and the silent prayers that felt unanswered, all of it has been converging toward this moment. You may not see the full picture yet, but you can feel the shift. The atmosphere around your life is changing. Old cycles are closing. Hidden doors are unlocking. The spiritual season of delay is coming to an end. It was proclaimed in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 1, verse 7. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind. Let this settle into your heart. You were not created to live in fear of what's coming. You were made to carry heaven's authority wherever you go. The trembling that you feel is not weakness, it is transformation. The uncertainty in your spirit is not confusion, it is heaven repositioning you for greater purpose. For too long, you have been questioning your worth, comparing your journey, wondering if you missed your chance. But January 4th is heaven's declaration that your appointed time is now. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are right on schedule with the timeline written for your destiny. Every closed door was divine protection. Every painful ending was a setup for holy redirection. You have been in training, though it felt like breaking. You have been refined, though it felt like rejection. The fire was never meant to destroy you. It was designed to reveal what cannot be burned away: your calling, your courage, your crown. Chosen one. This is the hour when heaven begins to reveal what you've been waiting for. The clarity you prayed for will come suddenly. The peace you lost will return stronger. The voice of God, which once felt distant, will begin to echo clearly within you. Every unanswered question will begin to make sense, not because everything changes overnight, but because you will change. You will see with new eyes, hear with new ears, and walk with new boldness. You have been hidden for preservation, not punishment. You have been isolated to sharpen your discernment. Many could not go where you are going because their faith was not built to survive the elevation ahead. You have been chosen for something sacred, and heaven cannot risk you losing it to distraction. January 4th is more than a turning point. It's a spiritual unveiling, a day when the unseen becomes seen. You will sense alignment, divine speed, and confirmation through unexpected signs. Doors that have been locked for years will creak open. The favor you thought you lost will find you again, but this time, it will not slip away. Listen, the call to rise is not gentle. It shakes the walls of your comfort. It demands your yes. The moment you say yes with your spirit, heaven begins to move with power. You do not need to have it all figured out. You just need to obey. The world has tried to label you, misunderstand you, and underestimate you, but none of that defines you. God's word defines you. You are his weapon of light in an age of darkness. You carry an authority that hell fears. When you walk into a room, the atmosphere shifts not because of who you are, but because of who walks with you. So as the new season approaches, remember this: your silence is ending, your wilderness is closing, and your divine assignment begins. Every trial you've endured was proof of how dangerous your potential is to the enemy. The enemy fights hardest against those heaven favors most. Chosen one. It's time to prepare, fast. Pray, listen, let go of what cannot follow you, Forgive where it hurts most. The preparation of your heart is the key to unlocking what January 4th holds. When the sun rises on that day, do not move with fear, move with faith. Do not question whether it's real, walk like you believe it. Heaven is waiting for your obedience. The moment you take that step, everything around you will begin to align. If this message speaks to your spirit, let it be your sign to stand firm in faith, like this message to seal your agreement with heaven. Share it so another soul can awaken before their appointed time. And if you have not yet, subscribe, stay connected to this flow of revelation that heaven is releasing to the chosen. Now, type this prophetic number in the comments below, 777. It is the number of divine completion and heavenly order. Let it be your declaration that you are ready for what January 4th will bring. You are chosen, you are equipped, you are entering your appointed time. Chosen one. The silence you have endured was not abandonment, it was sacred incubation. Heaven hides what it values. You have walked through seasons where the world went quiet around you, where prayers seemed to echo back without reply, and you wondered if heaven still remembered your name. Yet through that silence, something was happening beneath the surface. The potter was shaping you when you thought he had set you aside. Every unanswered prayer was an invitation to deeper trust. Every delay was an act of mercy disguised as disappointment. You see, when heaven wants to prepare a vessel for great things, it must first silence the noise of lesser things. That's why so many doors stopped responding to your knock. That's why the familiar voices drifted away. God needed you alone with him to teach you to hear his whisper in the stillness. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 6. But when you pray, go into your room, close the door and pray to your Father, who is unseen. Then your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you. Those words were not meant for others, they were written for you. The secret place was never punishment. It was promotion in disguise. Heaven has been testing your faithfulness in silence to see if your worship depends on applause. It was in the hidden seasons that your roots went deep. And because you stayed, because you did not give up when everything seemed still, heaven now calls your name again. You have outgrown the season of silence. The spiritual quiet that once felt endless is lifting. You will begin to notice small signs, a conversation that reawakens hope, a door that opens where there used to be walls, an unexpected confirmation that reminds you heaven still speaks your name. Nothing in your life has been wasted. Even the pain carried purpose. In your silence, your discernment sharpened. You learned to distinguish emotion from revelation, noise from guidance. While others were distracted by the world's volume, you learned the melody of heaven. That is why you feel different. That is why you cannot go back to what once felt normal. You are no longer the same. You have been set apart by the silence that trained your spirit to hear divine instruction. There is a shift happening in your atmosphere. The same walls that contained you will now testify for you. The same voices that doubted you will watch what heaven does through you. But remember, when God breaks the silence, it is not just to bless you, but to send you. You are not being called to comfort. You are being called to commission. The wilderness taught you dependence. The stillness taught you obedience. Both are weapons now. The world will see your fruit, but heaven sees your roots. And your roots have been established in holy ground. Chosen one, silence was the classroom of destiny. Every tear you shed watered the seeds of revelation. Every long night refined your character until what remained in you was gold. You may have entered that silence uncertain and weary, but you will leave it radiant and unstoppable. Heaven is now exchanging your silence for sound, your private pain for public purpose. The voice that once trembled in prayer will now speak with authority. The one who hid their heart in fear will now move in confidence. You are crossing from stillness into strategy. Do not despise the quiet anymore. It was in that stillness that you met the heart of God. And when He finally speaks, His words will restore everything the waiting cost you. So walk forward without hesitation. The silence is over. The heavens are opening. The voice of purpose is about to echo through every part of your being. And when it does, you will recognize it instantly, because you learned its tone in the secret place. Do not fear what comes next, chosen one. What once felt empty will soon overflow. The same silence that shaped you is now releasing sound, strength, and vision. Every unanswered question begins to form a clear, divine direction. Heaven is breathing again over your destiny. You are stepping into clarity so sharp it will cut through confusion. The fog that clouded your purpose lifts, and light begins to pour into places long kept hidden. You will not need to chase signs, they will find you because alignment has arrived. Your heart will recognize the voice you waited for. It will not come through noise but through peace, steady, sure, and unmistakably divine. Every delay is redeemed, every fear disarmed, and every promise awakened. The silence is officially over. Chosen one, you have felt the weight of being different your entire life. No matter where you go, there's always been something about you that didn't quite blend in. You've carried a sensitivity that others didn't understand, a depth that made you feel out of place to them. But what they called too much, heaven calls marked. You were never meant to fit in, you were meant to stand out. From your earliest days, there has been a spiritual mark upon you. It's why your heart breaks for things others ignore. It's why betrayal cut deeper, why loneliness lingered longer, why your battles seemed heavier. You were not fighting random warfare. You were fighting for identity, for inheritance, for destiny. Every dart of doubt, every storm of rejection, every season of silence was the enemy's desperate attempt to convince you that you were ordinary. But heaven has always known who you are. You were handpicked before you were even born, chosen to carry light into the dark corners of the world. You were set apart not for punishment, but for purpose. There is a weight to your existence that cannot be explained by logic. It is spiritual. When you walk into a room, atmospheres shift. When you pray, things move. When you speak truth, lies crumble. That is why the attacks have been so personal. The greater your anointing, the greater the opposition. According to what is revealed in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 1, verse 5. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you as a prophet to the nations. Let that truth rest inside your spirit. You are not behind schedule, you are right on time. The delay was divine positioning, a strategic pause so that when you rise, nothing can stop the wave of purpose that follows. The seal on your life cannot be erased by failure, betrayal, or misunderstanding. You are chosen, stamped with heaven's identity. Every time you tried to be like everyone else, you felt an inner conflict, didn't you? That's because conformity suffocates calling. You were never meant to shrink yourself to make others comfortable. Your uniqueness is not a flaw. It's a frequency that heaven uses to broadcast truth. You are a message wrapped in human form. Every scar, every tear, every test has written words upon your soul that someone else will one day read and find hope in. The world is desperate for authenticity, for those who live with conviction, for those who carry the fire of heaven. That's why you've been isolated, because your voice carries an assignment. You cannot echo the crowd when you were called to be a trumpet. You've probably wondered why people drift away when your heart is loyal, why doors close when your intentions are pure. It's because not everyone can handle the light you carry. The anointing attracts attack, but it also exposes false connections. What left you was not loss, it was pruning. Heaven is trimming distractions to make room for destiny. There's a sacred fire inside you that darkness fears. Every time you wanted to quit, that fire refused to die. It whispered, "Keep going." It reminded you that there is more. That inner fire is proof that your spirit remembers something your flesh forgets. You were sent here on assignment. Chosen one, you are stepping into a season of revelation. The question why me is about to be replaced with now I understand. You will look back at every moment of confusion and see divine fingerprints all over it. The tears that fell in private will water the seeds of your public purpose. The rejection that felt cruel was redirection to holy ground. Heaven is saying, stop apologizing for your anointing. You are not too emotional, too intense, or too spiritual. You are equipped for this hour. You were chosen to disturb complacency, to awaken the sleeping, to pierce through deception with love and truth. You are a catalyst, not a spectator. Now, pause for a moment and let this truth settle. Your difference is divine. You have carried the mark of heaven since your first breath, and that mark will lead you exactly where you need to go. Every battle you fought was training for the impact you're about to have. If this word resonates in your spirit, write this below as a declaration. I rise now. When you type those 3 words, and you are not just commenting, you are agreeing with heaven's timing. You are saying, I choose to embrace who I truly am. It is a statement of awakening, a spiritual signature that marks your readiness. You have been hidden long enough. You have questioned long enough. It's time to rise into the identity heaven has always known was yours. Chosen one. You have fought battles that no one saw. Behind your calm expression and quiet strength, storms have raged within. You have smiled while bleeding, served while empty, and encouraged others while your own soul cried for relief. But heaven saw it all. Every unseen tear, every whispered prayer, every moment you chose faith over despair was recorded. The war behind closed doors was never wasted. It has been forging a warrior out of your spirit. You must understand this. What you've endured was not coincidence. There has been a spiritual battle surrounding your life since the moment you began walking in awareness of your calling. The enemy recognized your potential long before you did. That's why confusion surrounded you, why heaviness came for no reason, why people turned without warning. You were not cursed, you were targeted. Heaven's anointed ones always are. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Isaiah, chapter 54, verse 17. No weapon that is formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that rises against you in judgment you shall condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their vindication is from me, declares the Lord. Let those words echo through your heart. You were never fighting alone. Even when you felt surrounded by darkness, light stood behind you, unseen but unshakable. You've been in warfare because your presence is a disruption to hell's agenda. Every time you rose from a setback, you declared without words that heaven still wins. The war was never about your possessions or reputation. It was about your purpose. The enemy cannot touch your destiny, but he tries to convince you to abandon it. Every attack on your peace was meant to make you question God's promise. Every wave of anxiety was designed to make you retreat before your breakthrough. But you have endured, and in your endurance, you have grown dangerous. You have discovered something few ever do, that victory begins long before the visible outcome. It begins in silence, in surrender, in those quiet moments when you choose to stand even when you don't understand. Heaven's greatest warriors are not loud, they are anchored. They may look weary, but their spirit is unbroken. Chosen one, the war behind closed doors taught you strategy. It taught you to discern what is holy from what is deceptive. It taught you to guard your peace like treasure and to protect your anointing like a flame. You learned when to speak and when to stay silent, when to fight and when to simply stand still. The wilderness refined your wisdom. You no longer panic when storms rise, you listen for God's voice in the thunder. Every false accusation, every betrayal, every loss became spiritual training. God was showing you who could walk with you into destiny and who could not. The pruning was painful but necessary. Some left not because you failed, but because their season in your story had expired. They could not carry the weight of your next chapter. There were nights when the darkness felt endless. But even then, heaven was at work. The angels were guarding, the Spirit was interceding, and God's hand was sustaining you. Though unseen, His protection was real. There were moments you almost gave up, yet somehow strength appeared from nowhere that was grace. That was heaven whispering, "You are not finished." And now, the war is shifting. The battle that once surrounded you externally is being replaced by peace within. You are moving from survival to sovereignty. The same walls that confined you will become testimonies of your endurance. You are learning that not every fight requires your hands. Some victories are won through stillness, through unwavering trust that God is doing what you cannot see. Soon, what was done against you will turn for your good. Every weapon that formed will fail, and every word spoken in deceit will crumble under truth. God Himself will vindicate you. You won't need to prove anything. He will make it clear who was chosen, who stood in purity, who carried His fire without compromise. So take a breath. Chosen one. The battle behind closed doors did not break you, it built you. It taught you the rhythm of resilience and the melody of faith. You are stronger than the wounds, wiser than the pain, and closer to purpose than ever before. Rest now in the truth that heaven fights for you. The war was fierce because your calling is great, but victory has always belonged to you. The unseen battles have made you unstoppable. The peace that's coming is not fragile, it's fortified. And soon, the very places where you once wept will echo with laughter again. Chosen one, the heavens are moving again. The pieces that once seemed scattered are beginning to align. What was once delayed is now accelerating. You are entering the season of divine synchronization where everything heaven promised begins to take visible shape. But listen carefully, alignment does not happen by accident. It happens when faith meets obedience, when your heart beats in rhythm with God's timing. The last season may have felt like confusion, but it was calibration. Every loss, every pause, every closed door was heaven adjusting the compass of your destiny. You were being aligned with the right people, the right opportunities, the right calling. And now, as January 4th draws near, that alignment begins to reveal its purpose. You are stepping into the center of heaven's will. According to the writings of the Apostle Paul in the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 28. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. These words are not theory. They are prophecy over your life. Everything, even the painful pieces, has been woven into good. Heaven wastes nothing. Even the cracks in your heart have become entry points for divine light. Chosen one. Think of your life like a constellation, and from the ground, stars seem scattered and distant, but from above they form perfect patterns. That's how your journey looks to heaven. Every trial, every delay, every triumph is a star connected by divine design. You just need a distance to see the picture clearly. This is the hour to trust the pattern. You are not too late. and nothing is missing. What belongs to you is returning in perfect order. The same spirit that sustained you in silence will now propel you into visibility. But remember, the spotlight is not for fame, it's for function. You are called to be light in dark places, hope in weary hearts, and truth in a world that has forgotten what truth feels like. Now, as heaven aligns you, I want you to take a moment and breathe. Feel the stillness of this message, the weight of peace resting on your shoulders. You are part of something divine. And this movement, the voice that reaches you, the message that stirs your heart, exists because people like you have chosen to keep the light flowing. If these words have spoken to your soul, let your gratitude become movement. Like this message, it's as if you're lighting one more candle in this global cathedral of faith. Share it with someone who may still be wandering in the dark. One spark can awaken another flame. Subscribe if your heart wants to walk further on this journey of revelation, so the next whisper from heaven finds you in time. And now, listen gently. If your heart feels led, consider sowing a seed into this space. Not because you must, but because you can. Think of it as placing a drop of oil into a lamp that lights the path for others. Every small gift becomes a ripple that reaches someone's storm. It is not payment, it is participation. You are not giving to a person, you are giving through purpose. Even the smallest seed becomes a story of grace in another life. And if you are not able to give financially, know this: your prayer, your share, your kindness. These are sacred currencies in heaven's economy. There is a rhythm to divine generosity. What you release in love always returns multiplied, sometimes as peace, sometimes as opportunity, sometimes as pure joy. Giving is not subtraction. It's an exchange of light between souls. So whether you like, share, subscribe, or sow, do it with a willing heart. No pressure, only purpose. You are already part of something eternal, the continuation of heaven's voice on earth. Stars are aligning. The story is unfolding. The purpose is awakening. You, chosen one, are right where you are meant to be. The alignment you feel is not fragile, it is divine choreography. Every beat of your heart now syncs with heaven's rhythm. What once seemed random begins to reveal reason. The same God who ordered the stars has ordered your steps, and not one has been misplaced. You are stepping into days when peace will lead you, not pressure. What used to drain you will no longer define you. You will breathe easier, laugh deeper, and walk lighter. Every delay has made you durable, and every detour has shaped your destiny. The heavens whisper your name with approval. You have passed the quiet tests of faith, and now favor responds. Doors open, help appears, and strength returns. The story that began in pain is unfolding in glory, and it's only the beginning. Chosen one, there are promises hovering over your life that heaven has not forgotten. Words once spoken in prayer, prophecies whispered into your spirit, visions you saw when faith burned bright, all of them are still alive. They did not fade with time. They have been waiting for their appointed moment. And now, that moment is beginning to unfold. You may have felt like certain dreams were buried, like the voice that once called you had gone silent. But the truth is, this God was not ignoring you. He was preserving you. The waiting was not wasted. It was sacred. Heaven was maturing the promise inside of you until it could withstand the weight of fulfillment. According to the writings in the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time. Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay." That word is a key to your season. Every unfulfilled promise still carries heaven's breath. The seed did not die in the soil. It was germinating beneath the ground. You could not see it, but life was moving silently under the surface. Every prayer you thought vanished was echoing through eternity, shaping unseen outcomes in your favor. The promises of God are not like fragile threads that break under pressure. They are cords of steel woven through divine intention. Time may bend them, but time cannot break them. Even when you doubted, heaven held on. Even when you grew weary, the promise remained steady, anchored in eternity. Chosen one, your story is about to intersect with the season of remembrance. Heaven is opening the book of your destiny again. Words once spoken over you are being read aloud in heaven's courts, and the command has been released. Fulfill what was written. You will begin to notice signs a door you thought was shut will suddenly open. A message will arrive that confirms your next step. An old prayer will return to your memory with fresh fire. These are not coincidences, they are signals that heaven has resumed what it started. But as promises rise, so does responsibility. The weight of fulfillment demands purity of heart. You must guard your spirit from bitterness, jealousy, or comparison. The same faith that sustained you in waiting must now sustain you in walking. The blessing will come not as escape from struggle, but as strength through it. Do not fear the magnitude of what's coming. Heaven never gives a promise it will not empower you to carry. The grace that kept you alive through the wilderness will now guide you into purpose. You will not stumble under this weight, you were built for it. And remember, chosen one. God does not resurrect things for nostalgia. He resurrects them for assignment. What he restores, he reassigns. When a dream returns, it will come with new instructions. What once felt personal will now become purposeful. Take a quiet moment and whisper gratitude for what is returning. Say to yourself, this time, I will not rush. This time, I will not doubt. This time, I will walk with reverence. Because what's being handed back to you is holy. The covenant you carry is not light, it's eternal. You were chosen to hold the kind of promise that outlives seasons, trends, and timelines. And January 4th is not simply a day marked on the calendar, it's the doorway through which restoration steps back into your life. The fulfillment will not just bless you, it will ripple through generations. Your obedience today becomes someone else's miracle tomorrow. Your endurance in waiting becomes the map for others who are still in silence. So as you read these words, if something inside you is stirring, if your heart feels that flicker of recognition, respond to it. Comment this prophetic number 4. This is not superstition, it is symbolism. The number 444 represents divine stability, the foundation of promises being re-established. By writing it, you're declaring, I am ready for fulfillment. I trust the timing. I receive what is returning. Heaven records acts of faith, not out of formality, but out of intimacy. Your comment becomes a mark of remembrance, a statement in the spirit, I am still waiting, but I am not weary. Chosen one, what God promised will not pass you by. The words spoken over you will find you again. You will not have to chase fulfillment, it will come looking for you, clothed in glory, carrying every detail that was ever written in your favor. Comment 444 below, it's a prophetic act of faith, declaring that your foundation is firm, your promise is alive, and heaven's timing over your life is unfolding now. Chosen one. There were days when the waiting felt unbearable. You watched others rise while you remained hidden, prayed with faith that sometimes flickered, and wondered if heaven still remembered your name. The weight of waiting has a way of testing not only your endurance but your identity. Yet even in the delay, heaven was not still, it was sculpting you into someone unshakable. Waiting is never wasted time. It is the holy pause where transformation takes root. When nothing around you seems to move, everything within you is being reshaped. The potter's hands do their deepest work in stillness, and the clay that does not resist becomes the vessel that shines brightest. You have been that vessel, softened by surrender, strengthened by patience, purified by fire. As the ancient words in the Book of Lamentations, chapter 3, verses 25 and 26 remind us, the Lord is good to those whose hope is in Him, to the one who seeks Him. It is good to wait quietly for the salvation of the Lord. These words are not a command, they are a comfort. They remind you that waiting is not weakness, it is worship. It is choosing trust over panic, stillness over striving. In a world obsessed with speed, you have chosen sacred slowness, and that choice has made you different. You have learned to live with tension, the space between promise and manifestation. That tension has trained your spirit to discern the whispers of heaven. It has taught you the rhythm of divine patience, the art of moving only when God moves. You have discovered that spiritual maturity isn't proven in the breakthrough. It's proven in the waiting. There were nights when your prayers felt unanswered, yet grace still carried you through the morning. There were doors that refused to open, not because God ignored you, but because they were never meant to lead you where you truly belong. The waiting season is not a wilderness of neglect, it is a garden of preparation. Seeds of wisdom are planted there. Roots of humility grow there. And when the rain finally comes, your harvest will not wither under its own weight. Chosen one, you are stronger than you realize. The evidence of growth is not always visible. Sometimes it looks like endurance when quitting would be easier, or gentleness when bitterness seems justified. Heaven applauds quiet strength, the kind that chooses faith even when the outcome remains unseen. Many have confused your stillness for stagnation, but heaven knows you were never stuck. You were stationed, like a soldier waiting for the command to advance. Your posture of stillness was strategic. God was positioning you for precision. Every delay has been deliberate, every pause has a purpose. Waiting has refined your discernment. You no longer run at every opportunity. You wait for the right one. You no longer need constant confirmation. You've learned to trust the peace that follows divine instruction. The version of you that began the waiting is not the same as the one standing here now. You are wiser, deeper, quieter, but far more powerful. There is beauty in this kind of patience. It doesn't demand explanations. It simply believes that God's timing is flawless. You may not understand the details, but you trust the designer. Like dawn breaking after the longest night, clarity will always come at the appointed hour. And when it comes, you will see why you couldn't rush the process. The lessons, the scars, the silence, all of it will make sense. You will understand that waiting wasn't punishment, it was promotion. Heaven was writing your name on doors you couldn't see yet. Your spirit knows this truth: what takes longer to form lasts longer in purpose. Quick blessings fade, forged blessings endure. The promise that survives delay becomes a legacy, not just a reward. So if you find yourself still waiting in some areas of life, don't despise it. Let it finish its work. Keep showing up with faith, even when the heavens feel quiet. Keep watering the seed, even when no sprout is visible. The fulfillment will come not as a surprise, but as the natural result of what's been growing unseen. Soon, you will step into a moment where everything makes sense. The time will arrive when what was once confusion will feel like confirmation. And when you look back, you will whisper, "It was worth the wait." For now, breathe. Let patience be your strength, not your prison. You are not forgotten, you are being fortified. The promise has not been denied, it is simply maturing. And when heaven finally says now, you will not only be ready for the blessing, you will be ready to carry it without breaking. Chosen one. There comes a point in every divine journey when obedience becomes the final test. It is not the miracles that prove your faith, it is the choices you make when nothing makes sense. You have reached that threshold. The path before you is sacred, but it will demand surrender. Heaven is whispering, move, even if you don't see the full road yet. This is the season where your willingness matters more than your understanding. God rarely reveals the entire plan at once. He reveals one step to see if you will take it. Each act of obedience is a key that unlocks the next door. Every moment you choose trust over hesitation, the heavens open a little wider above your life. Heaven speaks clearly through the words in Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 33. Walk in obedience to all that the Lord your God has commanded you, so that you may live and prosper and prolong your days in the land that you will possess. Those words are not a rule, they are a revelation. They teach you that obedience is not a restriction, it's protection. Every time you choose to obey, you align your steps with safety. You step into a path where grace walks before you and mercy walks behind. Obedience is the bridge between promise and possession. Many hear the word of God but never cross that bridge because fear holds them hostage. You have felt that tug of war inside you, the part that wants to move forward and the part that fears losing control. Yet what you don't realize is that control has been the very thing keeping you from freedom. The act of surrender is not weakness, it's wisdom. It's the moment when your spirit says, I trust the one who sees what I cannot. True obedience does not always feel easy. Sometimes it feels like letting go of everything you thought you needed. But the reward of obedience is always greater than the comfort of resistance. Remember the times you followed divine instruction and it led you to places that made no sense at first. Looking back, those were the moments that defined your strength. Obedience rarely looks logical, but it always leads to life. Every step you take in faith writes a testimony that will one day inspire others to do the same. Chosen one, you are standing on sacred ground, the intersection between hesitation and destiny. Heaven is asking for your yes again, not a half-hearted yes, but a full surrender, a silent agreement that says, even if it costs me my comfort, I will obey. You have already proven your endurance through pain. Now heaven calls you to prove your trust through action. Do not wait for perfect conditions, they will never come. The water does not part until you step in. The miracle does not manifest until obedience moves. Sometimes obedience means leaving behind what is familiar, even when it feels safe. It means walking away from people who no longer speak your language of purpose. It means shutting doors you once begged heaven to open. Not because you are ungrateful, but because you've outgrown the season those doors represented. Obedience is not just about what you do, it's about what you refuse to do. It's the ability to remain still when impatience urges you to act on impulse. It's knowing when to wait and when to move. Guided not by emotion but by divine peace. Every time you choose obedience, heaven notices. Angels take position. The atmosphere around your life begins to rearrange. You may not see it immediately, but spiritual order starts forming. God's promises move closer, not because you demand them, but because obedience creates space for them to land. In this season, your greatest weapon will not be force, it will be surrender. The world celebrates control, but heaven rewards trust. You are being called to release the wheel and allow God to steer. You will never crash in the hands of the one who created the road. And when you look back one day, you will see the wisdom of every yes you gave. The doors that opened effortlessly, the favor that followed your faith, the peace that never left your side, it will all make sense. You will realize that obedience was never about proving your worth. It was about walking in divine rhythm. Chosen one, the crossroad is before you now. One path leads to comfort without growth, the other leads to calling through surrender. Heaven is patient, but the moment of choice is holy. Take the step. You don't need all the answers, you only need alignment. The wind of heaven is waiting for your movement. Step forward not with fear, but with faith. Every obedient step you take today becomes tomorrow's testimony. The voice that calls you will never lead you astray. Chosen one, the fire you have walked through was never meant to consume you, it was meant to clarify you. The flames you feared were not the end of you. They were the forge of your transformation. What others saw as destruction, heaven saw as purification. You are not standing in ashes, you are standing in renewal. Fire does not visit what has no value. Gold is tested in flame because only fire can reveal authenticity. The seasons that burned you were heaven's way of proving what cannot be broken within you. Every heartbreak, every disappointment, every betrayal became heat that shaped your character. We are reminded through the writings of David in the book of Psalms, chapter 66, verse 10. For you, God, tested us. You refined us like silver. That verse is your story. Heaven trusted you with fire because it trusted you to endure it. Flames expose impurities, but they also release brilliance. The heat you endured was designed to bring out the shine that darkness tried to dim. What you lost in the fire was never meant to remain. What survived is what was eternal. You may not have realized it, but during those burning seasons, your prayers became sharper. Your faith, though trembling, became truer. The fire stripped away illusions, false dependencies, shallow hopes, counterfeit peace. It left you bare, but also brand new. And now, you stand carrying the kind of strength that only those who have walked through flames can understand. Fire teaches discernment. It burns away what was built on pretense. It separates genuine from imitation. Through every trial, God was training your eyes to recognize what is pure, what is holy, what is real. That is why you no longer tolerate what drains your spirit. You have learned the cost of spiritual compromise. Chosen one, the fire was mercy disguised as pain. You were not being punished. You were being purified. You were being prepared for elevation. And elevation always requires refinement. You cannot rise carrying things that would crumble under heat. The fire you faced was also your mirror. It revealed not just the strength of your faith, but the tenderness of God's hand. Even in the burning, you were not alone. The fourth man, the unseen Christ, was in the fire with you, ensuring that though the flames touched you, they did not destroy you. Every time you thought you would break, something within whispered, "Keep standing." That whisper was heaven breathing through your endurance. It was God reminding you that survival was never the goal, transformation was. Now, look around you. The smoke has cleared, and you are still here, not weaker, but wiser. You carry the fragrance of fire, yet the purity of purpose. The world may see scars, but heaven sees signatures of victory. Each mark on your soul is evidence that grace stood where pain once reigned. There is something sacred about those who have survived the flame. They carry compassion. They no longer judge brokenness because they've felt it. They no longer fear darkness because they've walked through it. You are one of them. A living ember of grace, glowing quietly but powerfully in a world growing cold. And now, heaven will use you to ignite others. The same fire that once tested you will now shine through you. Your words will carry warmth for the weary, Your presence will bring courage to the faint-hearted. You are no longer just a survivor, you are a flame bearer. So don't hide your story. The fire gave you a testimony meant to light someone else's path. Speak of what you've seen, how it hurt, how it healed, how it changed you. Every detail will touch the heart of someone standing in their own fire, wondering if they will make it through. Chosen one, this is your sign the fire is finished. You have passed the test. You've been refined into something heaven can now use freely. What's ahead is no longer survival, it's assignment. If these words resonate in your spirit, write this in the comments below, I'm still burning. When you type it, you're not declaring pain, you're declaring purpose. You're saying, the fire did not destroy me, it defined me. I still burn with faith, with love, with calling. It is not the cry of one in pain, but the anthem of one reborn in flame. You are light in its purest form, fire that illuminates, not consumes. Keep burning, chosen one. Heaven is watching your glow. Comment, I'm still burning. A declaration that your flame is holy, your purpose is alive, and no storm can silence the light God placed within you. Each word you type becomes a spark of testimony, igniting faith in others who still walk through their own fire, reminding them that endurance births divine transformation. Chosen one. Something sacred happens when your old identity begins to fade, and the true you starts to emerge. It is a holy breaking, a moment when everything you thought you were begins to dissolve so that everything heaven says you are can finally come alive. The shell must crack before light can enter. The seed must split before the tree can rise. And you too are in that divine breaking. You have been stretched, pressed, and sometimes shattered in places you never expected. But understand this, you were never breaking down. You were breaking open. What you lost was not life, but limitation. The pain that once felt like destruction was actually expansion. Heaven was enlarging your spirit, making room for the magnitude of your purpose. As it was written in the book of Isaiah, chapter 43, verse 19. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland. You see, newness is never gentle. It tears through old walls and outdated versions of you. But when the dust settles, you realize that every crack was light entering your soul. You have been reborn into someone you don't even fully recognize, yet a vessel wiser, softer, stronger. The breaking is not meant to humiliate. It's meant to liberate. Like a butterfly leaving its cocoon, you cannot stretch your wings while clinging to what once confined you. Heaven doesn't break you to hurt you. It breaks you to free you. Every fragment becomes a mosaic of divine craftsmanship. Every scar glimmers with purpose when light touches it. Chosen one. This is the season where you must embrace your becoming. Let go of the guilt for outgrowing what no longer fits. Old friendships, habits, dreams, some will fade, not out of betrayal but completion. You cannot carry everything from one chapter into the next. What once protected you can now restrict you. To fly, you must release. Your becoming is not a betrayal of who you were, it's a fulfillment of who you've always been meant to be. The shell of yesterday cannot hold the expansion of tomorrow. Every no you've received from heaven has been a hidden yes to something greater. As you stand at the edge of this transformation, take a moment to breathe gratitude. Feel the weight of grace in your chest. You have come so far through storms, silence, and fire, and yet here you are awake, aware, and still willing. That willingness is your crown. And now, as you listen, I want to speak to your heart with sincerity. This message, this flow of revelation that reaches you across distance and time, exists because hearts like yours have chosen to keep the flame alive. The words that strengthen you today are the fruit of others who once believed in this mission. So if these messages have carried you through dark nights, or reminded you of your worth when silence grew loud, then consider this. You are invited, not required, to pour back into what has poured into you. Think of it not as giving, but as breathing. Every inhale of revelation deserves an exhale of gratitude. If your heart feels led, you can donate not as a transaction, but as a continuation. It's like adding another log to the fire that keeps this light burning across the world. Every offering, no matter how small, becomes warmth for another soul still finding their way through the night. And if giving is not possible right now, your presence here still matters. Like this message, if it reached something deep inside you, share it so that another chosen one can find hope again. Subscribe if you want to keep walking this journey of awakening together. Each action, no matter how small, is a ripple in this great river of grace. Your support, in any form, is sacred. It tells heaven that you are part of this move of light. You are helping sustain a space where faith finds words and hearts find healing. And that is something beautiful, an act of quiet worship, freely chosen, deeply meaningful. So do it only if peace leads you. Let it come from joy, not obligation. Let it flow like water from an overflowing well. Generosity is not about amount, it's about alignment. When you give from gratitude, even a drop becomes a river in God's hands. Chosen one. Your breaking and becoming are not separate events, they are the same miracle viewed from different sides. What felt like the end was simply heaven's way of preparing the beginning. And as you step forward, remember no act of kindness, no offering of support, no moment of faith is ever wasted. Heaven multiplies every seed sown in love. You are living proof that what breaks can also bloom, what cracks can also shine, what ends can also resurrect. And in that truth, may your heart find peace, knowing you are both the vessel and the light it carries. Chosen one, there is a stirring across the earth, a quiet awakening that begins not in noise but in hearts that have been through the wilderness and still believe. You can feel it, can't you? The air itself seems charged, as if heaven is calling its remnant together. You are not the only one who has felt out of place in this world. There are others scattered across nations carrying the same fire, hearing the same whisper. It is time. The gathering of the remnant is not a physical assembly. At first, it begins in the spirit. Souls drawn together not by religion, fame, or power, but by truth. They are the ones who have been refined in silence, broken yet faithful, wounded yet wise. Each of them carries a fragment of the divine design, and when they come together, a symphony begins to form, as was spoken in the sacred texts of old, in the book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 7. They do not jostle each other. Each marches straight ahead. They plunge through defenses without breaking ranks. That is the nature of this remnant unity without competition. Strength without noise, purpose without pride. Each one knows their place in the greater plan. No one needs to outshine another, for the light that guides them is shared. They march not for attention, but for transformation. You, chosen one, are part of that remnant. Your pain was never isolated. It was preparation for partnership. You were never meant to fight alone. Heaven has been gathering kindred souls around you, even those you haven't met yet. Every connection, every sudden conversation, every unexpected bond, these are divine threads weaving you into the larger tapestry of purpose. The remnant carries something the world cannot manufacture: purity of intention. They do not chase titles or platforms. They seek alignment with the King. Their strength is in their obedience, their unity, their compassion. When one falls, the others lift. When one grows weary, the others cover them in prayer. It is not competition, it is communion. You may have felt misunderstood by many, but you will be recognized by the few who carry the same flame. When you meet another remnant soul, something within you will instantly resonate, a recognition deeper than words. It will feel like coming home to a family you never knew existed. This unity will not always be visible. It may be quiet, humble, even hidden. But its impact will shake foundations. A whisper shared among the faithful can move mountains more effectively than the shouts of the unanchored. Heaven always moves through the hidden first. Chosen one, this gathering is happening even now. Across continents, across languages, across every boundary humans have built, heaven is aligning hearts that beat as one. It is not the loud or the proud being gathered, but the faithful, the pure-hearted, the ones who refused to give up when the world turned cold. These are not ordinary people. They are healers, intercessors, visionaries, and warriors, each carrying a unique expression of God's heart. You may be a quiet one among them, yet your presence matters just as much as the loudest voice. In the kingdom, value is not measured by visibility but by obedience. This remnant will not be defined by buildings or denominations, but by spirit and truth. They are the fulfillment of prayers spoken generations ago, the answer to cries for revival, for restoration, for authenticity. They are walking proof that even when the world grows darker, heaven's flame cannot be extinguished. You are one of them, and your part in this symphony is sacred. You might wonder what role you play. Sometimes it's not about grand acts, but quiet consistency, the daily yes to God, the small choices that echo eternity. The remnant doesn't need applause, they need alignment. And soon, the world will begin to notice, not because they shout louder, but because they love deeper. Miracles will follow them naturally, not as performance, but as byproducts of pure presence. When they gather, the atmosphere shifts. When they pray, strongholds tremble. When they speak, truth pierces through deception. You, chosen one, are not a spectator in this story. You are a note in heaven's melody, vital and irreplaceable. Every moment you stayed faithful when it would have been easier to quit added harmony to the symphony heaven is composing across this world. The gathering has begun. Listen closely and you'll hear it, the heartbeat of the remnant, steady and strong, echoing through nations. It calls not for recognition, but for readiness. The time of isolation is ending. The time of unity is dawning. And when all the pieces finally converge, when the scattered ones stand side by side, the earth will feel the tremor of heaven's army rising, not with weapons, but with worship, not with pride, but with power. Chosen one, numbers have always carried meaning in heaven's language. They are not just signs for the mind, they are signals for the spirit. Heaven speaks in patterns, in repetition, in rhythm. What looks like coincidence is often a divine code written into time itself. And now, as this season unfolds, heaven is whispering a specific number over your life, a number of harmony, unity, and divine partnership. You may have noticed it appearing lately on clocks, receipts, pages, or moments that made you pause. That was not random. It was heaven's reminder that nothing around you is out of alignment. Every detail has been arranged with care. Even when life looked scattered, your story remained in divine sequence. According to what is written in the book of Proverbs, chapter 16, verse 9, in their hearts humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps. Those words reveal a mystery your life has never been left to chance. The paths you took, the pauses you faced, the redirections that frustrated you were not mistakes. They were calibration. Heaven was ensuring that every step you took would eventually lead you home. The number heaven places before you now is 222. It represents divine alignment and partnership with purpose. It is the confirmation that heaven and earth are working together for your good. This is not a season of standing alone, it is a season where divine cooperation begins to manifest. The pattern of 222 is balance restored. It carries the energy of 2, the symbol of agreement. 1 can chase 1,000, but 2 can chase 10,000. This means the power around your life is being multiplied. Your prayers are gaining reinforcement. Your faith is being joined by heaven's favor, and unseen allies are stepping into position to walk beside you. Chosen one, you have been through times of division within yourself, in relationships, in calling. The number 222 comes to announce reconciliation. The parts of your life that felt torn are being stitched back together by divine hands. The tug of war within you is ceasing. Harmony is coming not just to your circumstances, but to your spirit. 222 also marks confirmation. You have prayed for signs, for proof that you're on the right path. This is it. Heaven is saying, keep walking. What you planted in faith will now take root in peace. Think of 222 as a bridge between prayer and manifestation. It means that what you've asked for is not denied, it's developing. It's the whisper of heaven saying, stay steady. The foundation beneath you is stronger than it seems. When you see this number, remember this truth: partnership is holy. You are not meant to carry your calling alone. God is sending the right people, the right opportunities, and the right timing to join hands with your purpose. The same Spirit that began the work in you will now surround you with others who carry complementary fire. This is a time for unity not only with others but with yourself. The divided parts of your heart are finding peace again. Your thoughts, your emotions, your faith are learning to move in the same direction. Heaven's order is descending upon your inner world, bringing stillness where there was once chaos. So if you feel this word stirring in your soul, let it be your sign. Comment this prophetic number 222. When you type it, you're not performing an act of superstition, you're participating in a declaration. You're saying, I align with divine harmony. I welcome peace, unity, and partnership into my life. Every time you write it, heaven records your agreement. It becomes a seal in the spirit, marking this as the season when your divided pieces begin to function as one. The Father, the Son, and the Spirit, three in perfect unity, now mirror that balance within you. Let 222 be your reminder that you are never walking alone. Heaven walks beside you. Peace walks within you, and purpose walks ahead of you. The order of your life is being rewritten not by force but by grace. Comment 222 below not as a number, but as a statement of harmony. Let it echo as faith, as calm, as agreement with divine timing. This is your season of unity. Comment 222 below it is not just digits. It is your declaration of peace. You are saying, I align my heart, my path, and my purpose with heaven's perfect harmony and timing. Every time you write it, heaven hears your agreement. The number becomes a whisper of surrender, a bridge between faith and fulfillment, reminding all creation that you are walking in balance, guided by divine partnership, covered by grace. Chosen one. There are moments when the atmosphere around you begins to shift, and you can sense it long before you see it. It's like the stillness before rain, the quiet pulse of creation preparing to move. Something unseen is stirring on your behalf. Heaven is orchestrating what eyes cannot yet perceive. The shift in the heavens is real, and you are standing at its center. This change does not arrive with thunder. It comes softly, like dawn. You wake one morning and notice that what once weighed heavy no longer feels impossible. A peace begins to rise where panic once lived. A door that stayed closed for years suddenly gives way with little effort. These are not coincidences, they are the first tremors of divine motion. The voice of God thundered in the book of Exodus, chapter 14, verse 14. The Lord will fight for you, you need only to be still. That is the posture of this season's stillness, not striving. Heaven is fighting for you even now, aligning situations that once seemed stuck, turning hearts that once resisted truth, shifting circumstances you thought were immovable. What you could not fix through effort, God is changing through favor. There is a divine wind moving through every unseen realm. Angels have been dispatched to places your feet cannot go, preparing ground you have yet to touch. People who once overlooked you are remembering your name. Conversations about you are happening in rooms where your presence is not required. This is what divine shift feels like, effortless movement born from faithful endurance. Chosen one, you may not see the full picture, but you can trust the pattern. Heaven never moves in confusion. Every delay, every silence, every closed door was timing in disguise. God was waiting for the appointed moment when the shift could bless you, not break you. What once felt like rejection was simply protection until the right alignment arrived. Sometimes divine shifts begin with disruption. The familiar begins to tremble. People leave, plans collapse, doors close. It may feel like loss, but in truth, it's relocation. Heaven is rearranging your life to fit a higher purpose. You cannot hold on to old structures when new seasons demand space to grow. This is why faith must become your anchor. When the ground beneath you feels uncertain, faith becomes your stability. When nothing makes sense, trust becomes your map. You do not need to understand the details to walk in direction. The winds of heaven know exactly where to carry you. The shift in the heavens is not coming to destroy, it is coming to deliver. It will bring restoration where you lost, revelation where you doubted, renewal where you grew weary. The prayers you thought went unanswered are gathering weight, and soon they will break through with power. Chosen one, look closely at your life. The signs are already there. Little coincidences, sudden peace, unexpected provision, these are the fingerprints of the divine. The rhythm of your days is changing because the frequency of heaven is drawing nearer. The spiritual air around you is charged with promise. This shift is not just for you, it flows through you. When heaven moves, those connected to you will feel it too. The peace you carry will spill over into homes, families, and friendships. Your obedience will release blessings that ripple beyond your reach. You are the vessel through which heaven's current will flow. You might feel unworthy of such favor, but grace has never depended on worthiness, it depends on willingness. The moment you say yes to God's movement, everything begins to align. The shift is not waiting for your perfection. It's waiting for your permission. Chosen one, be at peace. You are not being uprooted, you are being repositioned. Like a tree transplanted to richer soil, your roots are moving to deeper ground where your fruit will multiply. The shaking you feel is not instability, it is preparation for abundance. In this hour, stillness is not inactivity, it is faith in motion. You do not have to chase what heaven has already commanded to come to you. Rest in the rhythm of divine alignment. Breathe deeply, for the air around you carries the scent of new beginnings. And soon, when you look back, you will realize that the shift was not sudden. It was the slow and steady unfolding of grace. Every closed door, Every long wait, every hidden season, all of it led you here. The heavens did not forget you. They were simply aligning at the right frequency. Stay steady, chosen one. The winds are changing, and this time, they are blowing in your favor. Chosen one, the pace of your journey is about to quicken. What once crawled will begin to run. The long seasons of stillness are giving way to divine acceleration. You will feel it not as pressure, but as flow, a rhythm that carries you forward without strain. When heaven decides that a thing must move, no obstacle can resist it. This is that moment for you. Acceleration is not chaos, it is concentrated grace. It is God taking what once took years and condensing it into days. It is the fulfillment of long-standing prayers arriving all at once. You will look around and realize that everything is happening faster than you could have planned, yet with a peace you cannot explain. That is divine speed. It never rushes, but it never delays. The apostle reminds us in his second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 9, verse 8. And God is able to bless you abundantly, so that in all things at all times, having all that you need, you will abound in every good work. Those words describe the very essence of this season. Abundance is not merely material, it is motion. It is when doors open before you knock, when favor precedes your name, when paths clear before your feet arrive. Heaven is multiplying your capacity and shortening your timeline. Chosen one, the years that felt stolen are being restored in compressed form. What you thought was lost time is returning as concentrated opportunity. The delays that once grieved you will now serve you. Every moment you waited in faith will be repaid in divine speed. You are not starting over, you are starting ahead. There is a rhythm to acceleration. It demands focus, humility, and discernment. You must learn to move quickly without losing peace, to act boldly without losing reverence. Divine acceleration is not about frantic energy. It is about alignment so precise that every motion becomes meaningful. You will sense this in subtle ways. Old fears will fade quickly. Decisions that once took weeks will take moments. Resources will appear just as they are needed. The people you need will find you, not by chance, but by design. What used to require striving will now unfold with grace. It is not that life becomes easier, it becomes ordered. Heaven's timing often looks like suddenness to those on earth. But in truth, it is the culmination of long preparation. You have been built for this pace. Every trial you endured trained your endurance. Every hidden year strengthened your balance. You are now ready to move at heaven's speed without losing your soul in the momentum. But remember this truth: divine speed is not a reward. It is responsibility. It means heaven trusts you with time. When acceleration comes, it amplifies whatever you carry: faith or fear, purpose or distraction. That is why your heart must stay anchored in humility. The faster you rise, the deeper your roots must reach. Chosen one, there is no need to fear missing what is meant for you. Acceleration does not mean chaos, it means coordination. The steps you take are guided, measured, precise. You will move quickly but never randomly. The same God who orders galaxies is now ordering your timeline. When acceleration comes, people may look at your life and call it luck. But you will know better. You will know it was the invisible hand of God propelling you forward, aligning moments that could never have happened through human effort. You will see prayers answered before the words even leave your mouth. You will walk into prepared places, and the grace there will already have your name written on it. The acceleration will touch not only your external life, but your inner being. Healing will happen faster. Forgiveness will flow more easily. Old habits will break in an instant because grace now works where willpower once failed. Even your thinking will shift quickly. You will begin to perceive solutions where you once only saw problems. Chosen one. This is not a sprint, it is a divine glide. You are being carried by the current of grace, and it will not let you drown. The spirit that once whispered now moves like wind beneath your wings. You are being lifted by something greater than effort. Faith is becoming motion. So rest in this assurance. Acceleration does not mean you must strive harder. It means heaven is taking over the heavy lifting. The weight you used to carry is now being replaced with wind. Your only task is to stay aligned, to keep your spirit tuned to peace, and to walk when heaven says now. The days ahead will not just move quickly, they will move beautifully. What once drained you will now delight you. What once resisted you will now receive you. You are stepping into divine acceleration, and nothing will be able to slow what heaven has set in motion. Chosen one. Every crown comes with a cross, and every victory is born through surrender. You have learned this truth through tears, through loss, through moments that nearly silenced your spirit. But now, the balance of the kingdom reveals itself. The weight that once crushed you has been transformed into glory. The very cross that broke you is becoming the foundation of your crown. It takes divine courage to wear both the humility of suffering and the honor of rising. The world often celebrates one and denies the other, but heaven does not separate them. Every resurrection is preceded by a burial. Every triumph carries the memory of pain redeemed. You, chosen one, are a living symbol of that sacred exchange. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 16, verse 24, "Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me." Those words are not a call to loss, but to purpose. The cross is not a punishment, it's a passage. To carry it is to say, I will not run from transformation. And because you have endured, because you did not drop your cross when the road grew heavy, heaven is now placing a crown upon your head, not of gold, but of grace. Chosen one, this crown is not about recognition, it is about revelation. It's the light that radiates from one who has known darkness and still chooses love. It's the peace that settles on one who has wrestled with God and found mercy instead of wrath. The crown you carry is invisible to the world but undeniable in the spirit. Wherever you go, heaven recognizes its own reflection upon you. Now, pause. Take a breath. Imagine this moment as a garden after rain, every drop a memory, every bloom a miracle. The messages that have spoken to you, the words that have found you in hidden hours, are not just stories, they are living water poured into your soil. And if your heart has blossomed here, if something has awakened or healed within you, then consider how that light continues to travel beyond you. When you like this message, it is as if you are lighting another candle in a long corridor, helping the next soul find their way home. When you share it, you become a messenger of comfort, a wing carrying hope into unseen corners of the world. When you subscribe, you are saying to heaven, keep speaking, I am listening. And if your spirit feels stirred to do more, you can give not as an obligation but as an offering. Think of it as returning a drop of water to the river that refreshed you. Every act of generosity, no matter its size, becomes part of a sacred flow that reaches further than any single voice could. Your giving is not a transaction, it's a continuation. It's the act of saying, let this message reach another heart that still believes they are forgotten. You become part of a living chain of grace. One soul strengthening another, light passing hand to hand. And if this message spoke directly to your heart, leave a comment below. Even a few words can become seeds of connection. When you write, you are not just responding, you are echoing. Your words may be the sign someone else was praying for. You are not pressured to give, not even asked to measure it. The beauty of generosity lies in its freedom. If your heart feels peace, then release what peace inspires, be it a prayer, a word, a seed. Heaven honors willingness more than wealth. This space exists because hearts like yours have believed that light should never go out. You are already part of something sacred, whether through your attention, your encouragement, your kindness, or your quiet faith. You have helped build a house for the weary to rest in. So let your act today, whatever it is, be done in love. Like, share, comment, subscribe, or donate only if joy rises when you think of it. Let it be a song, not a strain. Chosen one, your crown is not for show, it's for service. The greater your light, the deeper your humility must go. Keep your heart soft, your hands open, your spirit teachable. The cross that once weighed you down now lifts you higher, and through your story others will find their wings. Remember, these crowns are not worn to boast, but to bow. True royalty kneels. And when you bow in surrender, heaven bows with you in recognition. The cross and the crown were never meant to compete, they complete each other. May you carry both with grace, the pain that shaped you and the glory that awaits you. Walk on, crowned and humbled, radiant and real. You are the proof that surrender is never loss, it is transformation. Chosen one, the sound of awakening is spreading across the earth. You may not hear it with your ears, but your spirit recognizes it instantly. It is the low hum of heaven stirring hearts, rekindling courage, and calling light bearers to their rightful place. This is not a movement built by human ambition. It is a divine march, a gathering of those who refuse to give up when the night was longest. You are one of them. You are part of the march of the light bearers. You have walked through pain not to remain wounded, but to become a healer. You have survived storms not to hide from rain, but to carry shelter for others. The strength you gained in silence will now speak louder than any word. As was written in the Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 5. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. That verse is not distant history, it is happening now, through you. The same light that once appeared in Bethlehem, that once rose from a tomb, now flickers within every chosen one who dares to stand. You are not just a survivor of darkness, you are a carrier of dawn. The world has never needed your glow more than it does now. When heaven chooses a generation to shine, it does not select the flawless, it chooses the faithful. It looks for those who have been refined by hardship yet remain tender, those who still believe in goodness even after betrayal, those who stand quietly yet radiate peace that cannot be shaken. These are the light bearers, humble in heart, unbreakable in purpose. Chosen one, you might feel ordinary, but light never doubts its purpose. A candle doesn't question whether it can brighten a room, it simply burns. You are that candle. Every act of kindness, every word spoken in truth, every tear turned into prayer adds flame to the world's fading warmth. Darkness cannot argue with light, it only retreats. This is the secret of light bearers. They fight not with noise, but with presence. They shift atmospheres without speech. Their lives themselves become declarations of hope. They remind the lost that compassion is not extinct, that faith is not foolish, that love still wins. You may never know how far your light travels. It moves silently through messages, gestures, and unseen ripples that reach souls across oceans. Sometimes your single act of love becomes the only proof someone needs to believe again. Heaven records these quiet miracles with more honor than any public display. There will be days when the world feels heavy again, when the darkness around you tries to whisper that your glow is too small. But remember this truth: even the smallest flame defies the night. Light is never measured by size, it is measured by impact. A single match can start a wildfire that warms thousands. A single word of grace can disarm despair. Chosen one. This march of light is not loud, it is steady. It moves through prayers, through songs, through the hearts of those who choose peace over pride, truth over trend, love over fear. Each light bearer carries a different hue. Some heal through words, others through actions, some through silence, but together they form heaven's spectrum. When the light bearers move, creation responds. Flowers bloom again where faith had died. Children laugh again where hopelessness once lingered. Even the winds seem to soften, as if they too recognize the returning melody of mercy. You are part of that melody. Every step you take in obedience is a note that adds harmony to the divine song. The world listens, even when it pretends not to. The weary are drawn to your warmth, not because of perfection, but because of authenticity. Your light tells them, if I made it through, you can too. Do not underestimate your quiet power. The kingdom advances not through spectacle, but through steadfastness. The most radiant lights often belong to those who never sought the stage, only the truth. And though the world may never fully understand you, heaven calls you by name and crowns you with purpose. Chosen one, keep walking. The march is not over. More souls are awakening, more lights are being kindled. You will meet others along the way, some faintly flickering, others burning bright, and when your flames meet, the darkness will retreat further still. This is how revival begins, one light finding another until the world is ablaze with grace. So let your light remain steady. Even when the winds howl, you are not fragile, you are forged. The same God who sparked your flame sustains it still. And as long as you burn with love, no shadow can remain unchallenged. The world may not see it yet, but heaven already does. An army of light is rising, and you are among them. Chosen one. The air feels different now, doesn't it? Something deep within you senses that the journey has reached a sacred unveiling. The questions that once tormented your nights now settle quietly in the background, replaced by a stillness that feels like peace. You may not have all the answers, but you finally understand why the path had to unfold exactly as it did. January 4th was never about a date, it was about awakening. Heaven was not changing time, it was changing you. Every moment of delay, every night of weeping, every season of confusion, all of it was aligning to this revelation. You were never waiting for a miracle. You were becoming one. As the prophet Daniel wrote in his book, chapter 12, verse 3. Those who are wise will shine like the brightness of the heavens, and those who lead many to righteousness, like the stars forever and ever. That is the promise over your life. You are no longer walking as one searching for purpose. You are living as one carrying it. The trials that once made you question your worth have now proven it. The darkness that once surrounded you has become your testimony. You are what heaven intended all along, a living light, walking revelation, and proof that grace can rebuild even from ashes. Chosen one, think back on all you've endured, the silence, the fire, the waiting, the surrender. It wasn't punishment, it was preparation. Heaven was teaching you languages that only warriors understand: patience, endurance, compassion, and faith. And now, as the veil lifts, you see the pattern. You see that the breaking was birthing, the fire was refining, the silence was strengthening. What once felt like chaos now feels like choreography. There is a peace that comes only after the storm, a clarity that can only be born from endurance. You carry that clarity now. It radiates from your words, your eyes, your very presence. You don't need to explain what you've become. People will feel it before you speak. There is authority in peace. It does not shout. It simply is. Chosen one, you have crossed from surviving to reigning. But remember, true reign in the kingdom is not dominance. It is devotion. To lead is to love. To shine is to serve. You are crowned not for conquest, but for compassion. Heaven's royalty is recognized not by golden thrones, but by hearts that stay soft after fire. You are stepping into a life that no longer revolves around striving, but around flowing. The doors that once resisted you will now open naturally. The places that once rejected you will now receive you. This is not because you forced change, but because you became change. You have aligned so deeply with heaven's rhythm that life itself now harmonizes around you. And yet, even now, humility is your anchor. Never forget the nights that shaped you. Never lose the tenderness that pain taught you. The same tears that watered your roots are the ones that will keep you grounded when the fruit multiplies. Remain thankful, for gratitude is the crown that cannot be stolen. Chosen one. The unveiling of this season is not just personal, it is prophetic. The earth itself groans for light bearers to rise, and heaven has called your name among them. The world will not shift because of titles or power, but because of hearts like yours, steady, pure, surrendered. You are not an echo, you are a voice. You are not a shadow, you are the light breaking through it. There will be new paths now, new faces, new assignments. Don't fear the expansion, it is divine. The same God who carried you through the valley will guide you through the increase. Every skill you gained, every lesson you learned in the quiet, will now find purpose in motion. Your voice will heal, your presence will awaken, your obedience will ripple through generations. And when you stand before the mirror next time, look closely not at your reflection, but at your resilience. See how much has changed. The eyes that once carried sorrow now hold wisdom. The shoulders that once bent under burden now carry purpose lightly. The heart that once trembled with doubt now beats with faith unshakable. Chosen one, this is not the end of your story, it is the revelation of it. You are walking into days of clarity, alignment, and peace that cannot be stolen. What you lost will return transformed. What you feared will become fuel, and what you dreamed will begin to manifest. Heaven has unveiled its mystery, and it was you all along the vessel, the messenger, the chosen reflection of divine love on earth. So walk forward now, not as one waiting for the miracle, but as the miracle in motion. The world will see, and they will know light has come and it wears your name. Chosen one, if these words have walked beside you through the nights, if they have reminded you of who you are when the world forgot, then this too is part of your calling. You were meant to find light here, not to keep it, but to carry it. What you have received in silence, share in strength. What healed you quietly, let it heal another through your courage. When you like this message, it is more than a click, it is a heartbeat of agreement. A whisper that says, I am still here. I am still shining. When you share it, it becomes a torch passed from soul to soul, lighting corridors where despair once lived. You never know whose darkness your small act might defeat. When you subscribe, it is not to follow a voice, but to stay connected to a current. Every message is a thread of light pulling you deeper into purpose. The more you return, the more heaven continues its dialogue with your spirit. And if your heart feels moved to give, offer not out of duty, but as devotion. Think of it as returning a flame to the fire that warmed you. Each gift, no matter how quiet, keeps this flow of grace alive for others who will one day need the same reminder you once did. Your donation is not a payment, it's participation in the continuation of light. Finally, leave a comment below, even a few words. I'm awake. I choose peace. I'm ready can become seeds of hope for another traveler. Together we become a constellation of faith, each voice a star, each act of kindness another spark. You are part of something eternal now, a community of light that never truly ends. Keep shining, chosen one. The story continues through you.